Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my jolly red-cheeked co-host, Frank.
Oh, that's me. Is it because I've been drinking so much that I'm red-cheeked?
Yes, you have been drinking so much. You've had 2 whole sips.
Oh, yeah. It's been a lot.
Yeah. I don't even know what you're drinking, because the can just says Hi Neighbor. And
It does say Hi
It's
Neighbor.
not Mr. Rogers.
It's not Mr. Rogers beer, although
You're
that's
not
pretty
just
cool.
drinking Mr. Rogers.
No.
It's not even
The
his
essence
beer.
of Fred Rogers
Yeah.
in this can,
Ugh.
in this tall boy.
Well, you do like your slippers.
That
Yeah.
is true. I do like my
Yeah.
slippers. This is Narragansett Autocrat. It's a coffee milk stout, and it is quite delicious.
I'm definitely gonna have that.
Narragansett gets a bad rap, but I have always been a fan. You know, the regular Narragansett, all right, I could do without, fine. But their summer beer, the Del Shandy is great.
The Del Shandy's so
Love
good.
that. You know, I always have that in my house in the summer.
So it's the
And-
same can size, too.
Same can
actually.
size.
Yeah.
Yep. The 16 ounce and it's a full pint, and yeah, the stout is really, really good. Really milky. It's milk stout with coffee added, and it's really good. So I'm enjoying this.
You're a
This is
fan.
my first one.
That's good.
You've got a new beer there for you,
Yes,
too,
I
right?
have. I haven't even had a sip yet. This is Harpoon's Grateful Harvest Cranberry Ale, and I'm a big fan of the cranberries.
Yes.
Yes. You know, because we live in New England,
That's right.
so
Yes.
and you have to be a fan of,
Or else.
you know, it's like if you live in a fishing community, you have to like seafood.
Yes, that's right.
If you live in New England, you have to like cranberries and being obnoxious.
And you're from a fishing community in New England, so you
Yes,
have
I
to like
am.
both.
I have to put cranberries on top of my fish.
top of your fish.
On every meal.
It's law.
Yes, it is the law.
One of those weird
in our
Puritan
fishing
laws.
communities. Puritans. There's a little law here that says duck should wear long pants. You know, let me see that. Oh my God, long pants. You know, like so. Anyway, here we go. First sip.
All right, first sip for Tim.
I can't taste the cranberries. This is
This
is terrible.
Really?
This is not what I wanted.
Oh,
Oh, aftertaste cranberries.
Oh, there it
Interesting.
Let's see. What's their description?
I can't really taste the cranberry in that.
A hint of New England cranberry tartness balances the malty sweetness of this medium-bodied Auburn ale, the perfect complement to your Thanksgiving table.
It's good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but it just
but it's
tastes
not very cranberry.
It just tastes
Oh.
like an Oktoberfest.
Really? Well, I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. Go ahead, take a sip.
I've had it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Then don't take a sip.
I won't.
Okay.
I won't steal your sip.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't taste the cranberries. Maybe it's just my taste palate isn't that great.
Maybe, or maybe it's like, maybe it doesn't believe in cranberries, and if something happened to it, it would become cranberry.
You mean like fall off a roof?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe.
Maybe if my beer fell off a roof,
Maybe.
it would start believing in cranberries.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, that's interesting. You know who wears a cranberry also type colored suit is your friend and mine. Krampus. No.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if Krampus wears a suit or not. He definitely doesn't. No. I do want to see that movie, though. I haven't seen it yet.
I heard it's good.
Has the time we were recording this. I have heard it's good. I like horror Christmas movies, but, you know, I also just really enjoy the classic children's Christmas movie, particularly The Santa Claus.
The Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh, I love this movie.
Me
This
too.
movie screwed with me because I thought you spelled Santa Claus
With an E. Right.
for
years.
basically my whole life, embarrassingly
Right.
until maybe last year. Where I was
way,
like,
really?
Yeah, so now when I see Santa Claus
Without the E.
without the E, I'm like, that's not spelled right. Like, it's missing something.
I mean, this movie came
'Cause
out.
it's Santa Claus.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it came out when I was 5.
Okay.
So.
I was 7.
Yeah. So, like, it was there my whole life, right?
Yeah.
Just like you're saying. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. And this is like Tim Allen at his like peak.
Oh my god,
right?
this is
Toy
heyday.
Story, Santa Claus.
Tim Allen. Oh yeah, this is everything. He
This
was
is
a
when it was
big
all
star
happening.
then.
Yeah.
Well, even the director John Pasquin was a Home Improvement director. So this is like, yeah, it has that
It's the
slapstick feel, Midwest feel to it.
It feels very Tim Taylor.
Yeah.
The dialogue, his character feels very.
Scott Calvin is not a Tim Taylor. It's just like the
There's
character's
a lot
different.
of similarities.
Tim Taylor's
though.
a fool. Like,
yeah.
Well, so is Scott Calvin, but in a different way. It's not like,
Okay.
like I'm gonna like fiddle with Santa's sleigh and shock myself, and like blow up the house by accident. It's not that kind of.
He does burn turkey.
He does burn the turkey. Oh my god, that I was just watching this a couple days ago. All right, and so that I think the movie is really strong. Maybe up until when, like, maybe like when he gets arrested or something like that, and then like it kind of just becomes a little generic or whatever. But that opening scene where Charlie doesn't want to stay with stay with Dad, or like, and he's at the party and all this stuff, blah 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 blah. But whenever he's in the kitchen and it's the TV showing all of the food, like, and then it zooms out and it's just him blowing the turkey,
extinguisher,
and he's like, and that is why you want an industrial fire extinguisher in the kitchen.
That's Tim Taylor.
That's absolutely Tim Taylor.
That would definitely had to be a nod to Tim Taylor too. You know, like,
absolutely, absolutely,
right in the kitchen.
but they try to go to a fancy restaurant and it's closed. And so he takes him to Denny's, and the kid's like, I don't want Denny's. And he's like, what are you talking about? Everyone loves Denny's. It's an American institution. And the next scene, they walk in, and it's all the Asian
businessmen.
It's all the Japanese businessmen just going hard and having, like, yelling and everything, blah, 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 blah. But when the part I was getting to, when they sit down, when Charlie and Scott sit down at the table, that's got
burned a turkey.
When he looks around and it's all single dads with their kids, and they're all just looking around, they're all eating silently, nobody's talking, and then he just looks at that other dad across the way and goes, burn the turkey, and the dad just raises his bandaged hand and waves. Oh. It's so brilliant. It's so funny, and it's so adult. Like, that's not
it's not
a
for
joke
kids.
for kids.
No, I mean, it's not like not family friendly, right? It's just
it is
over the heads of kids. They're not going to find it that
super
funny.
I find that the beginning of that, up until when Santa shows up, like when he falls off the roof, this movie's not for kids. It's like that opening part is absolute. It's all.
It's not aimed at kids. It's for the grown-ups to get invested, to be like, don't worry, guys. We know you took your kids to this movie. It's about Santa Claus, but this is for you too.
Yes, exactly. And so we're going to give this part to you early. Because even like that, when he's at the party, when he's at like the toy party at the beginning, like his company party, and he was like, so like secretary's on the guy's lap, and he like makes a comment about it, and like, well, that's not for children.
No, kids wouldn't understand.
I certainly didn't get it when I was a kid.
Neither did I?
No.
I actually, in retrospect, I kind of remember my parents being uncomfortable with that scene, and I didn't get why.
Yep.
Right? And I was like, "What? What's the deal?" It's just some guy sitting on some lady sitting on some guy's lap.
I
just
sit on Grandpa's lap all the time.
Exactly.
What's the big deal?
When I'm like 5'7", I'm like,
everyone's a lap sitter.
Right,
like a lap sitter. That sounds weird.
John Lapsitter?
Yeah, John Lapsitter.
That was Toy Story. That was never mind.
Yeah, okay. And so, but I find, like, as you progress through the movie, it like there's like like when he's reading Charlie, it was the night before Christmas.
Yes.
And on the like, Dad, what's a clatter? He's like, it's a loud noise. Like, and then it just kind of, and now Charlie's just like, Dad, I heard a clatter. I'm like, just so children.
Yes.
Like, it's an excellent movie. But when Santa falls off the roof.
Dad, it's the ladder.
Yeah, like what?
Rose such a ladder company.
Oh my god, it's so punny. I love it.
It is.
But my favorite is when they go back to Santa and it's just the clothes. He's like, Daddy's gone, and he's naked somewhere. Like, that is my favorite line in the movie. I love between that and burn the turkey. Like, just those are the two. Like, yes, He's naked somewhere. Oh.
I also love when he's like, "Hey, buddy, I'm just looking for some ID. I want to get you back to the mall."
Yeah.
Scott Calvin, you have no idea what you're getting involved in here.
No, there's a whole bunch of it. And so...
Oh, and then when Santa's little hand, like his
he like waves
in the snow,
goodbye.
like, waves goodbye, like, I'm dying.
Because that's like his... Yeah, it's so weird. Because that's like to tell the kids, like, Santa's not dead. It's okay.
But also, he's dead.
Yeah, but also...
And it's like surprisingly morbid for, it's like, oh, he literally killed Santa on his roof. And he scared him to death, essentially.
Literally. Is that clause actually legal because he didn't see the fine writing?
Probably not.
I want to say because it has to be like a certain...
He didn't sign anything.
Contract writing has to be of a certain font size or it's not legal anymore.
And he has to have signed it.
Oh, he didn't sign it.
He didn't sign anything.
He took the card.
He took the card.
But they also they really just forced it upon him. He did not have a choice.
Right.
Like, sorry about your life, but you are just going to become Santa Claus. You're going to gain weight. You're going to grow magic hair.
Like it or not.
You're going to get a list.
Sorry about your life,
Armand
but it's over now.
Asante's name on
Armand
it.
Asante?
Which, oh my God, if this movie is a product of its time, nothing says it more than Armand Asante.
Oh, man.
Who I have not seen in a movie since... Sylvester Stallone's Judge Dredd.
Sure, yeah, wow, yeah.
Yeah. I am the law.
I am the law.
I am the law. I know, as we make fun of him as he's like in his like supporting Oscar, like going to win the supporting best Oscar for Creed. I know,
wow.
I know, but just if you ever forget where you came from, Stallone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you didn't really come from there. You did come from Rocky. So, the movie has a pedophilia joke in it too. I didn't notice a couple of days ago.
Remind me.
Okay, so they go to the North Pole. Like, they do their little fly around, as Santa, and he's, like, there, and they take the presents out and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And they get to the North Pole, which was a literal pole
yes.
with the key card.
Yeah. It's the North Pole!
Yeah, with the little pop-out buttons.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wanted that so bad when I was a kid. There's nothing like a slide-out tray with buttons on it.
Oh, yeah.
Get my drive going. I love...
What was that?
I love buttons. I don't know
Yeah?
why. When I was a kid, the opening scene of the Rescuers Down Under 2 when they're sending the messages and just like a bunch of mice like clicking on keys, and one of my favorite moments in animated history of all time. I don't know why. I just love buttons. Touch screens are the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Not really, but
so
if that was true, my life's pretty sweet.
So you're a Button-phile.
Yeah, I'm a Button-phile, but not a pedophile, as this joke is about to come in.
Right,
so,
yeah,
he talks to Bernard, and they do the whole, I'm really old, blah, 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 because I'm an elf, blah, blah, blah. And they, like, give Scott his pajamas that say SC on them, and, they're nice and satin, and they make the joke about it later. But Judy, the elf, comes in, who's, like, she's got to be, like, what, a 9-10-year-old girl?
Yeah, she's a little girl.
Yeah, just a tiny little thing. And she comes in with some hot cocoa, and she's like, I've had, like, 1,400 years to perfect it, or something like that. And he says, it's good. It's really good. You're like, you look good for your age. He says, like, yo, you look good for your age.
Yeah.
And she says, thanks, but I'm seeing somebody in, like, marketing or
whatever it is,
and I was like, and his face goes, like, and I was like, oh, that is.
I never really caught that. That
is a semi-pedophilic joke.
That is, all right. That's,
Yeah.
All right. I never thought about that
because
way.
if you just look at it as this is a man in his 30s, his 40s, and this is a girl who's 10 years old, even if they're just acting, I was like, that's weird.
That's weird.
It felt weird.
That's weird.
And I didn't like it. Took me right out of the movie. Yeah.
Wow. Let's move on from that.
Yeah, all right.
So, what do you find Neil and Charlie's mom annoying?
Neil with his sweaters.
Neil with his like ugly like Cosby sweaters.
Yeah,
like,
oh my god! Oh, they are Cosby sweaters. Oh my god, that's exactly what it is. I always thought he was going for like the ugly Christmas sweater, but they're not really Christmas sweaters.
No.
They're just
because most of that movie like doesn't take place at Christmas. It happens between Christmases. That's
right. Yeah,
right?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Even though for whatever reason it kind of looks like it's winter through the whole movie.
That is kind of
even
true.
in that middle scene where he's like watching like him play soccer and whatever else, and all the kids line up on the bench.
I want some ballet slippers.
Also, like, how terrible does that look? Like, as an adult, I was watching that and I'd be like, if I was Scott and if I was Neil and the mom, whose name I can't remember, Laura.
Her
name is Laura. But if I was one of them, I'd be like, Like, of course I'd be on their side.
Yeah,
I'd be
of course.
horrified.
Especially in 2015. Like, it's, even since 21 years ago, it's changed. The world's changed a lot.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
But, oh man, yeah, like, yeah, it's creepy. It's creepy now, but just looking at it, watching it as a movie.
As a Christmas movie, so funny. Because he is Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at Santa that way, you've ruined Christmas for yourself. The whole way through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's like, if you look at he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. If you look at it that way,
that sounds really creepy.
You're doomed. You know what this movie did, which I never really thought of? There's a timetable for when Santa's looking at you and when Santa knows you're good or bad. Because by like Thanksgiving, he has checked that list, and so all those toys have to be done. So you pretty much, maybe you have some do you have some rain where you could be like, oh, from Thanksgiving to Christmas, I can do whatever I want. I could be a little, little
turd.
Well, yeah, exactly. I could be a little turd and do whatever I want because that toy is already made and Santa has already checked that list. Is that strange?
It's sort of strange, but it's a pretty good theory.
I guess Santa has that feeling where he could just be like, you know what? No, you're not getting this.
I mean, he's like, you know what? We made this already, but I'm going to give it to some kid somewhere else in the world.
Yes.
They're going to get 2 toys now.
Yes. Yeah.
Wahaha. Yeah, how about that scene where he's like walking down the street and being like, this person good, this person bad.
Tommy,
like,
bad.
Yeah.
Like, Ricky, nice.
Veronica, very nice.
She's like, nah, in your dreams, sleigh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just the little Tim Taylor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also the scene where he keeps shaving and it keeps growing back.
Oh, that's so, I'm in big trouble. Yep.
I remember that from the trailer for that movie. I maybe not the trailer, but it was either a trailer and I saw it like on some tape from the 90s that I'd taped off TV, some other movie maybe, and saw that commercial over and over, or it was at the beginning of some other Disney movie, like on the VHS, the store-bought VHS where they had the previews for other movies. It was either in one of those two places where I kept seeing the trailer for that movie, so I've seen it many, many times, and that scene is in there, and I remember it specifically from there, before I'd ever seen the movie. And the Topo Gigio thing. Topo Gigio. Name. Kris Kringle.
Kris Kringle. Père Noël.
Topo Gigio.
Oh, my God. I don't know if you can get away with jokes like that now.
I don't know. Yeah, Topo Gigio's a little dated reference now, so I feel like even then it kind of was.
You know what I found that was actually the most dated reference in this movie was when they build the new sleigh, and Charlie has made the new sleigh with Bernard, and they put their heads together and blah blah blah, and he's going and Santa Scott whatever is going through and he's like, what's that, and he says, what's that, and Charlie says, it's a CD. And
nice,
he goes,
compact disc.
Yeah.
Because even in the 90s, who said that?
Oh, no. Nice, compact disc. Someone had it to advertise a compact disc.
But like,
he's like, no cocoa dispenser. And
right.
Shoots a cookie. Yeah.
I even that, like, that was always awkward to me because I was like, even in the 90s, you never said like, yeah, man, a CD, a compact disc. Like that, no one said that.
I guess not. Because because no one was like,
no one needed to advertise the existence of CDs.
You also just said like VHS. You weren't like video home system or video.
Right. I actually don't know what the H stands for.
I don't know what that stands for. Do you want to use your one lookup?
I'll use my one lookup.
What VHS stands for? Yeah. I'm going to give you group permission to also say that you look up VCR at the same time.
Oh, video cassette recorder. That
video
one
cassette recorder. So video.
No, video home system. You were right.
Video home system?
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, I am the smartest man alive.
You've been saying a lot of that.
I know. I know.
Yeah, right. You didn't say that. You just said like, oh yeah, put in. You would just say like tape. You wouldn't even say VHS. Really? I mean, I don't know. You said it, but
not really.
It was awkward.
It's just whatever, it doesn't matter. But it to me, I was like, ooh, that's dated. Also, the CG in this movie is horrendous.
Yeah.
Like, some of the flying scenes, oh my God. I was like, it's so bad. Like, you could could do it on an iPad now. Like, that bad.
Kind of.
Oh.
Like that, the J.J. Abrams, like effects app.
Yes.
Like, you could probably do a better job with that.
Yes, I agree. Oh my goodness. It's so funny how far we've come.
Yeah.
Did you know that Chevy Chase was originally supposed to play Scott Calvin?
Oh, it makes a lot of sense.
Doesn't it? It's
that makes a lot of sense.
It's like when you find out Chris Farley was supposed to play Shrek, you go, that makes sense now. Yeah.
Oh, man. Chevy Chase would have been great.
Yeah,
actually.
I guess
very different Scott Calvin.
Super different.
Very different Scott Calvin. But
I don't think Chevy Chase is I don't think he's as charming as Tim Allen can be.
Yeah,
or he's definitely as manic. Like they have that manic side. But I never found Chevy Chase. I don't ever really sympathize with in a movie.
Yeah, Chevy Chase in the 80s and 90s, not really. Chevy Chase on SNL in the 70s,
super
could
charming.
play charming, could do all that, but he
super.
kind of dropped that after a while.
Yeah,
and didn't do it anymore.
And so I'm sure I don't think we would have gotten that side of him. But it would have been interesting to see him. Well, I mean, now we know he looks like fat.
Well, yeah.
But it would have been interesting. Like you could just go to that app and just put on a beard on modern day Chevy Chase, and you'd be like,
there you go.
That's what he would have looked like. Got it. But it would have been interesting then to see like what he would have turned into as Santa Claus, because I really do think that's some of the best. I mean, there's a lot of great makeup out there, and there's some definitely better than that. But to turn what is this? He's just a 30-year-old, pretty good shape man into Santa Claus, who's supposed to be in his 60s, 70s. Great stuff. Like his transformation with the fat suit. Like when he's at the doctor's office.
That looks convincing now.
Even now, I'm looking. I'm like, that's really good.
That looks like a very obese
when he
man.
shakes himself. Does it look like a little weight to you?
Yes, exactly.
I remember that from the trailer.
Me too.
I absolutely remember that from
so
the trailer.
You put on a little weight.
Does this look like a little weight to you? Yeah.
Oh man.
I shave in the morning. In the afternoon, I look like this.
Well, that's it. Just lay off the sweets.
Yeah.
Like this is the most like naive doctor in the world.
That's the worst doctor in the world.
Terrible.
Yeah. Oh my god.
He's like, oh, okay, eat a couple less cookies.
Yep.
That's the whole problem. Oh,
I know.
Silly Scott, and he's like his friend too.
Yeah, exactly.
And he doesn't seem to care.
Nothing. I mean, the people at his Peter Boyle, his boss, seems to care.
That's right.
Quite a bit.
Get some help. Like,
get see a psychiatrist, see a dietitian. Whatever. Like, those are quite different.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Just saying. Good old Peter Boyle.
Good old Peter Boyle. All right.
Yeah. Just like, there's a pretty picture. Santa rolling down the street in a Panzer.
That's another one of those lines.
And it's awful, though. Like,
awful.
I was totally on his side. I was like, that's a terrible idea.
He's right. He's totally right.
Absolutely right.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, even without like the biasy of him being Santa at that point.
Yes.
Like he is 100% on the money. That's an awful toy.
But he wouldn't be taking that position if he weren't Santa.
He wouldn't. They
Right,
would have
'cause
sold
before
that
he
toy,
was-
and the whole
he
idea was that it would keep breaking, and
Right.
like they have to buy new parts and blah blah blah. And
He was totally bought in on that whole thing until the goodness of the Christmas spirit entered his heart, and he changed. Bernard has been in about a million things. He's like that guy who shows up in lots of TV shows and movies.
What else?
Ever since. So he was in Serenity, the movie.
Really?
Yep. He was in Serenity. He's made lots of David Krumholtz is his name. He does a lot of TV appearances. He was on Numbers, that show Numbers for a while.
Steady work set for
Yep. He's had pretty steady work ever since. He does a lot of just sort of like guest appearances on like NBC dramas and stuff like that. Kind of a lot actually, and he's done some movies too. But this to me is always, whenever I see him, I'm always like, oh my god, that's Bernard from the Santa Claus.
That's awesome.
Every time I see him, which I'm not sure that's really what he wanted, but
no,
that's
I'm sure.
what
But
he
you know
got.
what? That's what he's got. Sorry, they don't ever want to be remembered for that. They don't want to always be remembered for that movie.
For whatever that. There's always that one thing that they're known for. They probably don't want to be known for, but.
Well, we're going to remember Charlie forever as Charlie, except even though he played young Bruce Wayne in Batman and Robin.
Apparently.
Yeah. If you don't remember that part of the movie,
I don't.
Then there's a little scene where George Clooney is looking down the hallway of Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner.
He's down the hallway.
Wrong comic company, wrong franchise, wrong everything.
A whole different thing I don't want to get into. George Clooney is looking down the hallway of Wayne Manor. And he is he's looking down the halls of Wayne Manor, and he's got his little bathrobe on. That's what I was trying to say, bathrobe. That's why I got all befuddled with my Bruce Banners. Tried to combine
Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne,
and bathrobe all at the same time.
It's a very confusing world.
But he's got his little black bathrobe on, and he looks down the hall, and he like remembers seeing himself trip and fall, and Alfred comes by and picks him up. He's like, "Oh no, Master Wayne."
Okay,
blah,
I just don't
blah,
remember
blah.
being that kid.
Yeah.
And
That's
a couple
apparently
years
who he
later.
was. A couple of years, 97.
97.
Yeah,
Years
so
later.
about 5 years later.
Yeah, 3 years later.
When did
94.
Santa Claus go? Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it came out in
94.
94.
Yeah. It was
Right.
like
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay, so I was 7. Right. Man, the Santa Claus.
Oh. Now, did you ever see the sequels?
You know, I never have, actually.
Yeah, you're not missing out on much.
It's what I've heard.
They're not that good. They're not.
Well, the fun of the first movie is him discovering being Santa. You know, like I said, it kind of falls apart once he's Santa.
Yes,
like what doesn't fall apart, but it's just like it's very like here it is.
Well, yeah. So it's like the first one. Okay, yes, the whole fun is him becoming Santa and believing in Santa and the magic of, and it's by far the best of the 3. The second one is he will stop being Santa if he doesn't find a Mrs. Claus.
Right.
He's got to find a Mrs. Claus.
I've seen parts of that one.
Otherwise, it's all over, and he can't have he can't be Santa anymore. And the third one,
what? Can I ask a question? If this movie was made today, what if Scott Calvin that knocked Santa off the roof, was gay? And the second movie is you have to find a Mrs. Claus. I'm sorry, I don't actually care about your actual gender orientation.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, or your sexual preference.
Right.
You just need a Mrs. Claus. How weird would that like?
It's terrible, actually,
isn't it?
That'd
yeah.
be terrible. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what the rules of the Santa Claus are. I don't know what the rules are, but we'll see. And
either way, Santa Claus is coming to town.
Right.
Number 2.
Yeah, and then the third one is Martin Short plays Jack Frost.
Jack Frost, yes, I do.
And he has to like stop Jack Frost from taking over Christmas.
Yeah,
I've seen that one the least. I've seen the second one like twice, maybe on TV. I've seen the third one like once, maybe. But the first one is definitely the best.
Where does Tim Allen as Santa Claus rate for you in the grand scheme of
Santa Clauses? Ooh,
now we can do
that
this.
is a hard question.
I'm
going to
say just live action Santa Clauses.
Okay,
so you don't count like the puppet Santa Claus of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Santa Claus Coming to Town or anything like that. Because obviously super racist and mean Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Santa Claus takes the cake every time. Yeah. Oh my God, he's the worst. He's so mean.
Okay, I'm trying to just like think in my head like who the options are even.
Okay, well there's the slew of Miracle 34th Street Santas.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the original Miracle 34th. There's Richard Attenborough. David Attenborough.
I think it's Richard.
Richard Attenborough.
It's your lookup.
David Attenborough.
It's an Attenborough, and then yeah. I don't know. That could be its own episode. Honestly, like ranking Santas could seriously be its own episode. Best screen Santa. I don't know. Actually, I would like to hear people's opinions on that. Do you have a favorite off the top of your head? A favorite screen Santa? And does Tim Allen rank in that?
Richard
that
Attenborough.
Yeah, I thought it was Richard.
Yeah, Richard Attenborough. Live action Santa Clauses.
Yeah.
So there's Tim Allen. If you had to, that's interesting because there's not a lot of live action Santa Clauses.
Not a lot of really good ones. Not a lot of really good ones.
There's just the Miracle on 34th Street. There's the Santa Clauses, but a lot of Santa Clauses are CG.
Or cartoon,
or cartoon, or puppets, or whatever.
And a lot of times in a movie, when there's a Santa Claus, it's like a mall Santa Claus. Like it's not a real.
Right.
It's
I'm talking real Santa Claus. That's interesting.
Like A Christmas Story has a Santa Claus, but he's a mall Santa.
Maybe we think about this through the course of the year, and we save this conversation for next Christmas.
Got it. No, wait. I have an answer. Have an answer. Forget next year.
Okay.
We can do this again next
Yeah.
year. Movie you probably haven't seen. It's called The Night They Saved Christmas.
Nope, I haven't seen it. You're
And
totally right.
Santa Claus is played by none other than Art Carney from The Honeymooners.
What? Like straight to the bone.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's Jackie Gleason. That's,
I know, but
his friend, his like dumb friend. Yeah.
Oh
The Night They Saved Christmas. It's a bad movie. It's a bad like 80s movie. I'm not even gonna get into it, but Art Carney plays Santa Claus. Is he particularly good? No, but it's fantastically bad.
Oh my God, no! Absolutely,
it's epically bad. It's so good. Paul Williams plays an elf. It's epic.
You can't see my face readers.
No, they can't.
But I assure you, I'm giving Frank the most quizzical look I have ever probably given him.
It's bad.
What is this nonsense?
Bad, but my family recorded it off television.
Of course.
And we watched it
Classic
every
Christmas
year.
way.
Every year.
There's nothing like watching a Christmas movie with old commercials.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah, I was just watching... What was I watching? Something real short that didn't have commercials. It wasn't the Santa Claus. It wasn't a Christmas... Oh, it was Mickey's... No, was it Mickey's Christmas? Or... I can't remember. I was watching something and I was like, man, I miss these old, like, Tonk commercials.
Yeah.
Folgers and, like, all... Oh, it's all good. I got to go back and watch my video home system.
That's right.
Or whatever
on
it's
your
called.
On your video cassette player.
Yes, right.
Recorder.
Right. Yes.
Well, this has been a nice little stroll down memory lane to the Santa Claus. It really is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah, I was so glad that we talked about
me
this.
Me too. I'm glad you suggested this one because it's really one of my favorites, and I feel like it gets overlooked a lot. So I'm glad that we're talking about it.
Not by our generation or below it,
but
above us.
Yeah,
absolutely. But one day we will be the ones who are like, here are your Christmas classics.
Yeah, you go.
It's a Wonderful Life. Not anymore.
Actually,
no,
yes,
I'm just
very
kidding.
much so.
Yeah,
But yes,
yeah. Just kidding.
Anyway, I love movies, so yeah, I'm glad we talked about it. You can find us elsewhere on the internet, though. Besides Beer with Geeks, you can find us at Supergirl TV Talk. Mm-hmm. You can find us going in 2016. You can find us at Legends TV Talk, where we'll team up with our friends from Arrow TV Talk and Flash TV Talk and Starkville House of L / Starkville Labs. We'll be talking about Legends of Tomorrow on the CW. But you can also find us individually on Twitter. I am at Frank Ramblings. Tim is at TimP_Gannon. Those are the best ways to find us. But Beer with Geeks actually has quite a presence on the internet as well. Did you know this, Tim? Did you know
I
that
did.
You can? Oh, okay. Oh, right, because you're on the show too. Right.
Yes.
That's why you know.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm in
Yeah.
your
So you know
presence.
about at Beer with Geeks.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know about
Is that a new bar?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Why haven't we ever done this before?
We'll do it before this podcast goes out.
Right.
BeerWithGeeks.com, BeerWithGeeks@gmail.com, Facebook /BeerWithGeeks. You can leave us iTunes reviews. Find us on Satchel Media Player on Android. Find us on Overcast on iOS. Find us anywhere better podcasts are aggregated.
You said Facebook. You said Beer with Geeks Facebook. And I love the Facebook.
You do.
My first thought when you said that, even though I absolutely know what Facebook is and I love it, is just a book of pictures of beer, bottles of beer, with our faces cut off on top of the bottle of each beer.
So like the neck of the bottle is our neck?
Is our neck, and it's just our face.
That's splendid.
Over and over. I don't know
Splendid.
why that particular image popped into my head, but I'm glad it did because I'm going to cherish it forever.
Wonderful.
While I listen for a clatter on top of my roof so I can promptly push Santa off
Such
the
a
roof
clatter.
and become the new Santa Claus.
Such a clatter.
Indeed.
Well, before we make such a clatter, I just want to say Merry Christmas to all of our listeners out there who celebrate Christmas.
Indeed, and happy holidays to all those who don't.
Absolutely. It's been a wonderful year here at Beer with Geeks. Year two. Year two in the books now, actually. That's the end of our second year of Beer with Geeks.
Goodness, it is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
A true Merry Christmas
Yeah.
to you.
A Merry Christmas to you, my friend, and a Happy New Year. And, we'll be back in 2016.
Indeed.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.